Greetings, every people. Your cult of personality here. Toon Critics name, Toon's name, my game. Welcome to a special, more phenomenal episode of the Sketchpad. You know the show. You know me. I interview a bunch of people, whether they're voice actors, whether they're people on the internet, people off the internet, all sorts of great stuff. I got my good buddy Joey here, Jasper Pie, because this is an episode that we didn't even think was going to happen, but it is happening. I present to you guys a Power Ranger unlike any other. The dude from freaking Power Rangers Dino Charge, Tyler, the Red Ranger, Brennan Mejia. Is that how you say it?
Mejia, yeah.
I was so close. Oh, I was so close.
So close.
But yes.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me here, guys. You know, it's really an honor just to, to be on your guys' channel and to be able to talk with you and hopefully anyone who's listening or will be listening on the recorded version of this. So
it is super chill that you actually get to interact with your fans on your own YouTube channel as well. You have a great presence, I think, that allows like fans to get like a more in-depth look at some of your stuff with your vlogs and how active you are on social media.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to find opportunities to reach back to those who helped me get to where I am in the first place, because no one is a self-made man, and I'm no exception of that. So thank you for everyone who has supported me along the way and continues to support me as well.
All right. So it's been a hot minute since Dino Charge ended. What have you been up to, man?
Yeah, well, I've been doing the circus thing. I finished my degree about a year ago, and then I've been really pushing the personal training and nutrition side. I got a website up now, so
awesome.
BrennanMejia.com. I offer nutrition consultation and meal plans, as well as online personal training. And then other than that, I've been auditioning for other shows and roles. I have a modeling shoot I booked for this Friday, actually. And then, just a couple auditions in the works, hoping to hear back from some of them. And then, other than that, it's just getting ready for the holidays right now.
Holidays are always fun. I just want to really quickly say, in terms of like the modeling side, you have like the best, like almost perfect smile I think I've ever seen on somebody. It's like super photogenic. I just wanted to tell you that because me and Joey here have been huge fans of Power Rangers for ages. And when Dino Charge came along and we saw like how your character in the show, we were taken aback by it. Mostly me, not so much him, but we were all impressed by how well Dino Charge was received and how you portrayed Tyler in Dino Charge as well.
You're arguably one of the funnest Red Rangers we've ever had.
Honestly, yeah.
Like, it's always great to hear that from fans, because like it's always scary, because when you first put yourself into a role, you don't know how it's going to be received. You're gonna let some people down potentially because some of the comments are maybe he's not as masculine or cool as Jason from the original Mighty Morphin or whatever, and you just got to put it all to the side and be like, I am who I am. I'm going to bring what I think this character is to the screen. And, working with Chip Lynn and the other cast members, we just kind of develop a sense of who everyone is and how we all fit in the puzzle of the show, in a sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you definitely made it your own, and you made it work, and we love you for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I did my homework, so hopefully it came across well.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, Joey, that's your question?
All right. What was your childhood like, and how much of an influence was Power Rangers on your life?
Power Rangers influenced my life greatly, in the sense that it got me really wanting to do martial arts in the first place, as well as eventually to circus. And I wasn't watching it later on in life, but I grew up, I watched all of Mighty Morphin, pretty much Zeo, Turbo, made it into In Space and Lost Galaxy, and then I kind of carried away from it a bit. And then when I learned that I booked it, I went back and watched like 3 episodes from a bunch of different seasons just to give me a feel of how they all were. And then I watched Time Force in its entirety.
Yes.
I watched Megaforce and Super Megaforce because they came right before. And then I also watched Kyoto, my Super Sentai counterpart, in prep
that's cool.
for Dino Charge. Yeah.
Because most people don't, I'm assuming most of the actors when they come in don't really do their research on the Japanese side. They kind of just like, oh, cool, I'm a Power Ranger, woo. But no, like, you did your research. That's really cool.
You get an extra gold star.
Oh, extra gold star. I'll take it. Yeah.
So what made you want to get into, like, acting?
It started with circus, and I was doing a performance when I was like, I was a 3rd or 4th grader, and there was a manager, like an acting manager in the audience that my dad introduced me to. And I was dumb and I was young and I fell asleep after my performance and, the show was still going on. And then he woke me up to meet this guy and I was totally like half asleep, didn't know who he was. And then afterwards he told me like, you should have been more peppy. Like that was a manager. And I remember I was so sad and upset. I was crying on the car ride home. And I just, not that I ever cared to necessarily be an actor at that point, but it felt like a missed opportunity. And then years later, when I actually fell into modeling, which got me into acting, it was that same manager who saw me at a modeling school and liked my look. And we didn't even know that we met each other before. And then he told me later on that he came to that circus. I was like, I think I met you. And we realized he did meet me. And it's such a small world and how things connect. And, I'm with a different manager now at this point because he was a child manager. When I became past 18, I switched. But just how everything kind of correlates and you don't know what you're doing with your life one moment, but you're just chasing your passions. And for me, that was circus and watching TV and Power Rangers. And then I became a Power Ranger, did circus in Power Rangers. It just kind of...
So it all comes full circle.
Exactly.
I think that's super cool too, because like when I was talking, really brief thing, when I was talking about my friends that we were doing this interview, no one exactly knew who you were, but I just showed you like one of your modeling pictures, and I'm like, that's a Power Ranger. That is a Power Ranger right there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we all come in different shapes and sizes, so.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Power Rangers too. Let's see. I'm actually going to be bouncing around because I know you only have like a select amount of time, so we'll be bouncing around these questions. So what did you feel you brought to your performance as Tyler that helped you stand out amongst like all the other Red Rangers?
There's something one of my old acting coaches used to tell me, and he said certain scripts he would get when he auditioned, or his other actors that he was coaching, and they would write NAN at the top of their script, which stood for no acting necessary. When I read the breakdown for Tyler, he's so similar energy-wise to how I am in real life. It was really kind of just expanding upon who I already was and putting myself in his circumstances. I mean, obviously I'm not piloting Megazords and, fighting, rubber monsters in my normal life, but it wasn't a far stretch from my imagination and growing up with these shows and wanting to be on a superhero show forever, and also New Zealand being my #1 country I wanted to visit outside of the US, and how all of that came together in the form of Power Rangers was just ridiculous. I mean, I auditioned for Samurai and didn't get it, and I was so let down by the experience that I never wanted to audition for Power Rangers again. I didn't care. And then when Dino Charge came around, a friend got me the audition, and I was like, fine, I'll go in, and then I ended up booking it. So
It's been one heck of a ride, honestly, throughout the series, carrying into Super Dino Charge as well. Oh, Dino Super Charge, my bad.
It's all good.
It's the same. It's the same thing,
I know.
It was definitely super.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Joey, you're next.
Okay, actually, question for the fans: if you could work with any Ranger team, who would you want to meet the most?
Well, work with, because I like their storyline, Time Force, for sure. I mean, I've had the privilege to meet a couple of them as well, but I just think the whole the time traveling thing, and also, season spoiler if you haven't seen my last episode, which I'm sure you guys have, just, the ability of the Energems to allow us to travel through time as well. I think it allow for some cool opportunities if it ever arose.
Yeah, me and Joey here were just like, so there's just big time travel event happening. Where's Time Force when all this is going down? Because, I don't know, there's a black hole, the planet, like dinosaurs getting reborn. I don't know if that's worth looking into.
Yeah, we could sure use a force from the future, guys!
They were slacking on the job,
Probably. So, now, of course, there's a lot of positive stuff going into your time in Dino Charge, but also, was there anything you didn't like about your time as a Ranger that you thought could have improved?
Overall, I really enjoyed the experience. I think having the knowledge of, I've been on other shows prior to Power Rangers, but I've never been the lead in a show that shot for that many episodes in a foreign country, no less. So, just not being prepared for the amount of hours that go into a day and the amount of days you work in a row, and when you're really, really sleep deprived, how to kind of work around that, and just trying to understand how to make time for family still, and the time changes, and calling family when they're not asleep, and them calling me when I'm awake, and just trying to, all the outside stuff I think I could have done better at had I done it again. But, when you watch it, you always go, oh, I think I could have played that a little bit different. But you also do a lot of different takes that never make it in. So it's not like we're in the cut and editing room when they're putting it together. So sometimes you're like, oh, I'm glad they used that take. Other times you're like, man, I wish they would have used that take or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I've talked to a lot of people who have felt like they haven't given their best effort because of like all the hours that they have to put into their craft, how everything changes, how many days basically come out of their lives. Like, I know people who have been like on the road like 300 out of 365 days, and like they only get like a select amount of days off work, just to recharge and relax.
It's a hard life, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, it's true. And, it was a great experience. And I think, again, it comes with experience. So when that next show hits, I'll be more primed to work that into my schedule and understanding how much it takes out of me.
All right, Joey?
All right. What was your first convention experience like when you became the Red Dino Charge Ranger?
The first couple we did were the ones that Saban took us to specifically. So it was very it was very a controlled setting, like even when we did San Diego Comic-Con, it was we were on the floor for this many hours and then we were at the hotel and then we came out for this many hours and we were gone. So it's not like the freedom of kind of, now when I do conventions, I guess it's I can stay on the floor as long as I want. I could do it an hour or I can stay all day. Back then it's like, okay, you guys are signing for 3 hours, then you're done. We'll order lunch for you, whatever it is. So now there's just more freedom with being able to stay longer and actually getting to talk to fans versus when we were doing the crunched, you're here for only a minute amount of time. It was, hi, nice to meet you. What signature buy? Hi, nice to meet you. Signature buy. And we didn't get to interact as much as I get to now.
I can imagine that's stressful then, because it's sort of like it's a brand new experience. You want to try to connect with your fans like as early as possible, but it not being able to, that kind of hinders things a bit.
Exactly. But, I think now I've gotten into the con circuit enough, and Yoshi messaged me the other day. He's like, man, you're really hitting the con circuit hard. And I'm like, I keep getting invited to cons. It's not even that I'm like applying for these conventions. Just one person's like, hey, I have a con, you want to come? And I met in person at another con, and then they're like, hey, we have a con in so and so amount of months, and I'm not going to turn down an opportunity to travel and to meet fans. So
I was going to say, come out to Chicago sometime. We have a lot of cons.
Hey, reach out to the con agents or in the conventions. When fans email them, that gets the guest in the door. So if you want me there, I'm not opposed.
Speaking of Yoshi, actually, I'm assuming you absolutely loved working with him, but was there anyone else in particular you loved working with during Dino Charge?
Working with everyone was great, but I think personality-wise, with Davi and James, we had a lot of fun, and James especially, just because I never get to see him anymore, so I really just treasure the memories we had, and, he occasionally comes out to America, but it's so infrequent. I just wish I could see him more. And Davi and I have been hanging out a lot. We've done conventions together, and we spoke at some schools together, some functions, and trying to inspire the classes just, to keep studying and to work on their education, follow their dreams. I don't see Michael, Camille, and Claire as often. Just circumstances, just where they live and what they're doing. But that's pretty much that in a nutshell.
It's at least nice to know the bromance lives on.
That was such a bromance, so you got to admit it was great.
Yeah, Broshi, Brennan and Yoshi, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, here you go, Joey.
All right. For those who don't know, can you tell us about your experience on American Ninja Warrior?
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't know. I've actually been on the show twice. I did it once before I was a Power Ranger, and then after when I was a Power Ranger. So the first time I was on it, I actually did much better than the second time I was on it. I made it to the Venice qualifiers, and I ended up falling on something I beat in the original trial. I just slipped off of it. But so much of that show is, it's you can train for it, which I never did either of the times. I kind of just sent in a video, and they're like, hey, you're going to be on the show in 2.5, 3 weeks. I was like, great. And then I started training. Not that I don't train year-round anyway, but I don't train specifically for Ninja Warrior, just because I do circus and hand balancing, and that's more my jam. But I just love the opportunity to try. And I know there were so many people who would kill to be on that show, and for me to turn away an opportunity when all it takes me is to submit a video, most of the time. I feel like I should, and hopefully I can inspire people with fitness and, not giving up, even if I am going to fall on obstacle number 4 or whatever it is. It's just, it happens so fast. You just have to be on your toes and paying attention. And I didn't pay attention enough the last time I did it.
You got to stay fit, man. You got to stay fit in case Saban comes knocks like, hey, you want to come back for a little bit or something? Be like, yes, I've been keeping fit, keeping myself ready in case they need me.
That's true, man. And especially because I have my eye on some other superhero-themed shows. It's my goal eventually to break into the CW, get on either Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, one of those. That would be a dream. So
that would be amazing to see.
It would be very cool. I'm a big fan of all the CW shows as well. There'd be interesting ways for you, I think, to incorporate yourself. I imagine they might throw a Power Rangers joke at you or something.
Hey, why not? Actually, a fun fact, my manager now reps Grant Gustin, the Flash, actually. So.
Oh, wow. Alrighty then. What a small world in that case.
I'm telling you.
Last question. What keeps you motivated to stay fit and encourage others to get fit as well?
I've noticed in my own experience and with dealing with clients and helping them on their fitness journey, you wake up some days with motivation, some days you don't. But once you make something a habit, it doesn't matter if you're motivated or not. You still do it. So for me, people must assume that I'm just always high energy and I always want to work out. And to a degree, I have a high level of motivation just in my personality that I'm kind of just made that way, I guess. Mm-hmm. But habit is what gets me out of the door on those days I don't want to go. On those days I'm really enjoying like Breath of the Wild or Halo Online. I don't want to work out, but I go anyway because I know if I keep pushing my own limits, other people will hopefully be inspired by that, and then they'll inspire other people. It's that ripple effect. You drop a stone in the water and it makes a ripple and it makes another ripple, and hopefully that spread, as we've found out multiple times in this interview, it's a small world. You never know who you're going to reach.
That's the great thing, I think, when it comes back to when it comes to acting, when it comes to agents in general, you never really know exactly who. You'll find out who they're working for, like, oh, wait a minute, I know this guy, and it all just nicely loops back around.
Exactly. So you always got to put your best foot forward in every circumstance. Make sure you treat everyone with respect, whether you think they can do something for you or not. Maybe you're there to do something for them.
All right. I think that pretty much answers everything we were going to ask. So before we let you head off, is there anything you want to plug? A little shameless self-promotion?
I appreciate everyone who already supports me. If you guys want to keep supporting me, again, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Brennan Mejia. I do have a YouTube page that I'm trying to get a little more proactive with, but I thank you for the support and look out for me in future projects. I'll let you guys know as I'm allowed to release info on things and as I book a couple other jobs. So, yeah.
All right. So once again, man, thank you so much for taking time out. We greatly appreciate it. Just huge Power Ranger fans. This is huge for us. We didn't even think this is going to happen again, but you were so chill for letting us talk with you, man, and we greatly appreciate it.
You're actually the very first Power Ranger I ever met.
Oh, I met a lot of Power Rangers, but no, this is a meeting I've been looking forward to for a while.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
All right. With that being said, I'm the Toon Critic, and this is the Jasper Pie. Wishing all of you happy holidays and keeping you all totally tuned for your entertainment. Thank you for watching, and stay awesome.